Hello and welcome to another Insurance Times Expert View with me, Yanis Katoulis, Deputy Editor at Insurance Times. Today we're going to be speaking to Simon Hughes, who is Senior Vice President for Global Distribution at cyber insurance provider Cowbell. Thanks for coming in, Simon.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, Simon, you're the cyber insurance market expert. Can you talk to me a little bit about the position that the market is in at the moment? So obviously it's matured from the place where it started. What sort of position do we find ourselves in at the moment?
It's moving away from just an insurance policy, just the insurance response, to a proactive response, a service, if you will, at the start of what we provide. This isn't just a piece of paper that you get from your insurance provider that you hope to never see again. This is a full stack service right from the beginning. So that's really been the evolution of cyber insurance from what we've seen over the last couple of years, really emphasizing the service-driven aspect of what we do, providing value from day one to our policyholders, trying to stop a cyber event from happening in the first place before it ever even gets to the claim point.
And with that risk prevention piece of the cyber insurance service, how does that look for insurance providers?
So we provide an awful lot of those services ourselves at Cowbell. So we're continuously scanning all of our insureds the whole time, surface attack scans. At the same time, I think it's incumbent on insurers like ourselves to provide an ecosystem of other risk management vendors across the marketplace, with preferential rates, with preferential access. So we've got our Cowbell RX marketplace, which gives a huge variety of heavily discounted services to our policyholders, some of them for free, some of them massively discounted, that will significantly improve our policyholders' security posture.
So we've spoken a little bit about the maturation of the cyber market there, and something that's come out of recent stats is that there are specific segments of the UK market specifically that are particularly susceptible and being targeted by cyber threat actors, and namely that's the mid-market segment. What can cyber insurance providers do to help out with that specific segment?
I think cyber insurance providers can provide real insight to those companies, especially as they get larger. They tend to hire more people. They've got a larger potential attack surface. They might have taken their eye off some of the basics. Cybersecurity awareness training for their employees, for instance, or just being aware of exactly what's going on in terms of cybersecurity. We're going to be, at Cowbell, we're going to be scanning all of our clients for the latest vulnerabilities that are being actively exploited, for instance. We can share all of that data with our policyholders and clients. We can help them. We can make sure that they're not caught unawares if let's say their IT hasn't caught up with the scale of their growth into that mid-market space.
So we've spoken about the growth journey that a lot of companies go on and the cyber risks that can come alongside that growth journey as well. But obviously the vast majority of businesses in the UK fall into that small and medium-sized segment as well. And I wondered if you can speak to me about what coverage options are available to them as they scale up into those areas.
Yeah, so we've been on a mission to make sure that Cowbell is available to as many businesses as possible in the UK. 99% of businesses in the UK actually fall under 1 billion in turnover. So we've been able to expand our coverage availability up to 1 billion in turnover, up to 5 million limits for our cyber policy, for our tech PI policy as well, just to make sure that we can really cover the full gambit as much as we can of businesses in the UK.
Obviously, in the cyber insurance world, something that has become very popular in recent times that has added to the threat landscape is the rise of and popularisation of artificial intelligence and AI. What has that done to increase the threat landscape? Has it made it much more dangerous for companies?
Yes, without doubt. It gives anybody in the world with malicious intent access to the tools to be able to carry out those malicious activities at scale in a considerably easier way than it has been in the past. And it's not just the known and existing types of attack methodologies that we've seen over the last 18 months, 2 years. It's the prospect of ever changing or increasing sophistications of attacks using AI tools at anybody's disposal. That's really the scary part of what's coming up.
Yeah, I bet that popularization of the technology really keeps you guys on your toes and means that you need to be quite aware of where the threat landscape is and what do you have to be aware of there as the provider?
Absolutely, and we'll talk about that in part two. But we have to be on top of anything and everything as it's coming out.
Okay, well, we will talk about it in part two, like you talked about. Thank you very much for watching part one of our chat with Simon Hughes of Cowbell, and stay tuned for part two.